This is the Everyday Hustle Show, where our number one priority is self-development.
Each week, we will dive into insightful topics that encourage you to push your thinking beyond average.
Smash that subscribe button and tune in every Sunday at 6 p.m.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Everyday Hustle Show. This is episode 64, I believe.
Holy shit, 64 episodes.
60, that's
Of value.
Of value, there you go. That's a shit ton. So, episode 64, tonight we have another, actually, in this case, we have two special guests tonight. And before we do that, Drew, how you feeling tonight?
As Jesse would say, I am a pinnacle of human excellence.
No, you can't use it. Only Jesse can.
Come on, everybody. Good evening.
Only Jesse can use that one.
Nah, I'm feeling good. It's been a great week. It's nice to feel the forward momentum in like different areas of my life. You know, there's a few different areas that have been, I've been excelling in, and it feels really good. It's like kind of like rolling down a hill, you know. And I'm just rolling right now, and it feels good. We'll get into all the details and everything, but yeah, I'm feeling good. Took my Alpha Brain today.
Oh shit!
So
holy shit!
Fired up,
Jesse. Yo, pass the mic, bro.
We gotta pass the mic.
Jesse, how you feeling tonight?
I like to picture myself as a centaur sometimes, or a minotaur. Just walking around on four legs. Covered it. No, I'm excellent,
Dude,
Christian.
Excellence. All right. Well, I'm feeling pretty good tonight. So,
wow.
I'm gonna go ahead and give a very quick, brief intro before we get into the episode. So, like I said, we have two guests tonight. First, Michael. I've known him for like 6 years, I think, down here. So, just a little brief bio for him. He went to University of Phoenix. He has 2 kids. Worked as a commercial fisherman, which I'm actually kind of interested to ask a couple questions about that. Opened up restaurants with his family and is currently planning to start a nonprofit to help scholarship people that are in recovery to get into treatment who don't have the resources. So we'll get into that. And then we have Scott over here as well. Scott was born in Syracuse. Am I saying that right?
Yeah, Syracuse.
Syracuse, New York. Graduated high school, discovered drugs and alcohol at an early age, got sober around 23 or 24, went to college, maintained a 4.0 after getting clean or sober, and was pretty much just enthralled by learning. So he was awarded to study abroad on a trip in Belize, Guatemala. He's an avid rock climber, hiker, and he ended up getting into a relapse, which we'll get into that here in a little bit, and currently is working on establishing and promoting and building a clothing brand, which is From the Grave.
Yeah, From the Grave Clothing.
From the Grave Clothing. So we'll get into that as well.
Christian, why did you want to have these fine gentlemen on the show?
Dude, we gotta promote people who are actually trying to do something with their lives to better people. Right?
I love it, dude. Right. As always, Christian was about 45 minutes late today, so I got to talk to our guests for like 40 minutes before Christian even got here. They got here. I wasn't even showered. I had no shirt on. I was eating dinner.
Okay. Yeah, got into it really fast.
Yeah, but like we just started talking and vibing about different things that we've done and the meaning behind the clothing line and a little bit about each of our history and where we come from and like. You guys are just like the perfect type of people to have on the show. And, I love having guests on the show. I love the process of it because it's always like, oh shit. Like, okay. So like, I don't know if anybody knows how we record the podcast. Everybody probably knows who listens to it because they've seen the pictures and videos, but it's in my house. Right. So like anytime we have an episode that comes out, it's the first thing is always strangers coming into my house. Right. So it's like, to be honest with you guys, like it's uncomfortable,
I don't know how you
it's
do
like,
it,
man. And a newborn.
I got a baby, wife. I got no clothes on, and these guys show up to my front door, and I'm just like, I'm like, you know what? Fuck it.
Yeah,
either I'm gonna get murdered or it's gonna be a great episode.
Hats off to you, brother.
It's life, dude.
But it's always those situations like. Listen, you're never going to get anywhere in life without getting uncomfortable.
Yes.
And that's just the bottom line. And I feel like meeting new people is always uncomfortable talking to people about their past and, you know, their present and what they're doing and why they're doing it, you know, is uncomfortable. But the end product is always so amazing. You know, it's always like, oh man, I gotta fucking do the podcast. I gotta, you know, have the people over, and you know, I gotta have fucking Jesse here, and he doesn't do fucking anything. You know, but then at the end, it's like, dude, we fucking killed it.
Jesse,
you know?
fucking just comes through, dude.
So yeah, I'm excited for the I'm excited for the episode.
Yeah, man.
Jesse sounds like a great guy.
Jesse is fucking the pillar of excellence. So yeah, so like I was saying before, I mean the whole, and what, you know, Drew kind of touched on, the whole point of the episode of the podcast is to kind of introduce people who wouldn't normally know, you know, who you guys are, and let them kind of see what you guys are up to and how you guys got to where you're at now. So Mike, just to start with you, I've known you, like I said, for 6 years. If you can just kind of give us like a little rundown as to your experience with Florida so far and kind of how you got here, just briefly.
Well, I'm originally from Florida. So.
Oh, you're from
Destin,
Florida. That's right. That's
yeah,
right. South. So how you got to South Florida?
So I came down to South Florida. Scott's trying to knock the table over. So I came to South Florida originally after I had struggled in many treatment centers up in Northwest Florida, and there was a counselor at this one treatment center called 12 Oaks, and he finally was like, you know what, we need to send you down to an extended treatment and
switch it up.
And they sent me down to this place called Through the Archway, and that's where I learned about, you know, the disease of addiction and, you know, alcoholism and the solution to that. So it was cool.
Yeah.
You know?
And Scott, you have a similar experience with drugs and alcohol?
Yeah, I came down to Paradise via Destroy My Life in, you know, any area possible, and you end up in Paradise and hopefully provided with a solution. So yeah.
And so I know when you came down here, you had like a little stint where you got sober, you started doing good. You went to
4
college.
years, man. 4 years.
And so what was that like? Because I think that's interesting, and that's something that we talk about too, is college. And to me, it's just crazy how you hear it like pretty much at every meeting. You know, people get clean or sober, and then all of a sudden, you know, a year later, whatever it is, they go to school and they kill it. Like it's a very common. And I went to school. I mean, granted, mine was, you know, HVAC, and it was kind of more hands-on. It wasn't like
still
as
hard
like
stuff
books,
to learn right there.
but it was definitely difficult. But I mean, I'd straight A's. It was, you know, it was almost easy for me to like put that, you know, a lot of effort into it. So
yeah.
Was it like, did you find it difficult, or what was that experience like for you?
First of all, I was scared to death, like Drew said over here. And I remember, you know, your mind opens up, your hearts open up, and you're just like, wow, I can do life, I can face life successfully. And then a whole new world comes into view, and I can literally do whatever I want, provided I place God first. And I had some strong men in my life at that time who were, you know, carving out the path for me and showing me, not just telling me, you know?
Yeah.
Which is important. I can only take so much direction before I got to see it. So anyways, I went to my stepdad and I said, listen, man, I kind of want to try this out. And he goes, yo, let's take one class, I'll flip the bill. So it was history before 1877.
Okay.
I went in, I think the professor's name was Barak. I want to say Borat, but I know it's not Borat. And he's going around and everyone's introducing themselves. I swear to you, I was 2 seconds away from saying I'm Scott, I'm an alcoholic. You know, but I said, I'm Scott, I'm grateful to be here, right? And I think that's what it is when you rise from the grave, you know, and you start walking with a newfound grace and you show up in college, you may be next to a ton of people who are just don't want to be there, followed suit after high school, you know, dreading the homework. I'm there like, yo, this is amazing. Yeah. You know, this is amazing. Yeah, like what? These wars, these generals, like this is crazy stuff. And see, I thought you had to be smart, but you don't. Mm-hmm. College is about following direction.
Right.
Professor says we're going to study this. Midterm's going to be on A, B, and C. Read chapters 5, 6, 7. I follow directions. I read. I study. I ace it. I was like Goodwill Hunting up in that bitch. Swear to God.
Yeah, you know? that's the exact same experience I had. So there were a couple of people who, like, you know, were, because the age was in this school, the age was kind of sporadic. There was like older people, younger people, but there was maybe a couple people, and they were like older, that actually were, you know, serious about it. But everybody else, it almost seemed like like you said, they don't want to be there. But I'm like, in the back of my mind, I'm like, who's like, how are you paying? Like, what do you not have like anything better to do, or like,
right.
If you really don't want to be here, I guess my question is like, why would you waste time? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it was very similar, and the weird thing is that it was completely opposite than when I was in high school.
Yes,
because in high school I literally didn't want to try out shit.
Yeah.
I was in like the worst of like remedial math and senior, my senior year, and it was just, even in everything, baseball that I played, everything that I did was just, I just didn't want to try. I don't want to like fail. Yeah. I don't know. I don't really know what the root thing was or root cause, but I just know that I didn't want to like fully try, and like I was like the class clown, and I was, do
as little as possible and skate by.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of interesting to see the difference, and like not only that, but you give yourself enough time, with a clear mind, and things just kind of like slowly work themselves out. So yeah, so Drew always says it like college is kind of controversial. So do you think college is like a necessary step? Or do you think, like in today's world, that it's not really like a necessity?
I've learned that absolutely not. It's not a necessary step to make money. Right. That's, at the end of the day, to make money. No. However, I find myself today, dude, like I wish I was back in school.
Yeah.
Like I said, I loved it. I mean, I loved learning, and I would, I wasn't a bully in high school, but you would get made fun of if you're like, oh, I love learning, bro. Let's stay after and not go skip class. I mean, I feel corny just saying that out loud.
Yeah.
I love learning.
Yeah. Learn to be corny. That's what I say. When you get sober, learn to be corny. There's joy in that. But to piggyback off that, what it did was like you go into college and you realize, okay, so in high school, right, I'm an idiot. Like I'm getting C's, D's, maybe if I'm lucky. But really it was underneath the surface. I just didn't know how to apply myself.
Right.
I have this thorn in my side where I just want to skate by, do as little as possible, and never fully try. Because if I ain't trying, then I don't got to look like an idiot, right? And when I went to college and I did well, I left with the conviction that I can think for myself. I can figure shit out. I can go into something scared to death, not know what it's going to look like, apply myself, and rise. So when that happens, for lack of a better verbiage, your balls kind of drop, and you can start to kind of maneuver through life the way that you think you should.
You graduated college?
No, I got an associate's degree, and it was like I'm like couple credits. I was all sporadic, right? So it was like environmental studies, just everything, no singular purpose.
I did the same shit.
And then a relapse happened, so all that.
Sounds like a good way to get in debt.
Very much so. Very much so. My creditors would agree with you.
You go by Mike or Michael?
Well, people call me Fitz, but you can call me anything. Mike, Michael, doesn't
Fitz.
matter.
All right.
Fitz will work.
All right, right on. Yeah, I didn't know, because Christian had wrote down Michael, and I know some people are like, weird about that.
My mom calls me Michael. Shout out to my mom. Happy birthday, Mom.
Yo, shout out.
Shout out, Nina.
Yeah.
Nina, baby.
So I want to know, what was life like as a commercial fisherman, and how did you transition into the restaurant stuff? Because we talked before, like, I own a juice and smoothie bar now, so like restaurant shit always intrigues me. I ran and managed pizzerias, up north and down here. So it's a big part of my story, but I want to know a little bit about the fishing and the restaurants and how it all kind of, transpired in your life.
Yeah, man, it was a really hard transition. I come from a long line of fishermen. My great grandfather actually founded the town that I'm from, Destin.
What?
Yeah, and
that's sick.
So they were whalers back then, and they came all the way around down the East Coast and around the tip of Florida. And when they got to the Keys, actually a hurricane hit the boat, and they got stranded in the Keys for like 4 years, and picked up work there, rebuilt the boat, came up the west coast of Florida, and found Destin, and just set up shop. Damn. And so
that's sick,
pioneers.
Yeah,
for real.
Yeah, and so ever since, well, not today, but ever since then, we were fishermen, and we commercial fish for bait fish along the beach. I started fishing when I was like 8 years old with my grandfather. When I wasn't at school, I was getting up at like 5:30 in the morning, with my grandfather. It was a lot of hard work, man, but it was some of the best times of my life, and I wish we could still do it today.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a family business. You just worked because it was there and that was the family business.
Right. Yep. So all the guys in our family were kind of bred to be boat captains. So that's what we were going to do. And literally, I didn't think I was going to have to go to college because we made good money doing this.
Right.
And in I think it was 1999, they actually banned nets in Florida.
Oh, shit.
And so our livelihood was taken from us.
Yeah.
I mean, so we fished for all these years, and all of a sudden, boom, we have nothing. You know what I mean? All we have is a bunch of property and no way to make money. So my mom came up with the idea. When my mom and my uncle came up with the idea to start opening up some restaurants, so we opened up one on the bay and started steaming shrimp and stuff, really small stuff, and then just grew from there. Now we have 3 restaurants. We have one in Navarre and we have one on the bay.
Oh,
They're all
shit.
Dewey Destin Seafood, Destin, Florida.
That's
So,
sick.
Yeah. So in my 20s, that's what I did. I helped them when I wasn't screwing my life up.
Yeah.
I was in the kitchen. So
The restaurant business is just so easy to stay fucked up in.
no doubt.
Like, and you can do your shit, you can do your job, and that's just like kind of like the industry standard. Like, if you're in the restaurant biz, like you're just steady fucked up.
You're just steady fucked
Like,
up.
yeah, I used to be in the kitchen all fucked up. I cut my thumb off a couple times.
What?
Yeah, dude.
It
I'm a
grows
slicer.
back?
Yeah, dude. Look at these. Yeah, everyone can't see this, but look at these thumbs, Chris.
You cut, wait, but no, you cut it off?
You see it?
What
Crucial.
the?
See that, dude?
I didn't even.
Yeah, so I was slicing and just, yeah. But anyway,
It was.
I was in the kitchen, I delivered for, but it's like, a cash business,
Yeah.
It's tough
like,
work too, man. It's pain.
it's tough
pain.
work. Yeah, you got to stay up, 12, 13-hour days. It's hard on the body.
Need some pain pills.
Exactly.
That's why you
Cash
Yeah.
at the end of the night.
Yeah.
The dealer works.
Yo, I
with
used to,
you.
I used to get my paycheck. I used to get my paycheck like that day. I got to pay my car payment. Can I get my paycheck now? You only worked one day.
I need a
I'll
draw.
take
I need
that.
a draw, please.
Yeah,
I'll take that $80 or
Right,
whatever.
right.
Yeah.
Dude, we would like gather together as our shift started with like who's got what, and it would be like hydros, oxys, just like everyone would come in and be like, all right, tonight's gonna be a good night.
Right, right. Everyone, it's like a community pot.
Horrible.
Potluck.
Function much
Yeah,
better that
potluck.
way. Yeah.
Shit, the manager was like, please do it. Just get back
Right,
to the table.
right.
So, Mike, when you transitioned to South Florida, what did you do for work? Right when you got, what was your first job in South Florida?
It's,
on the East Coast
I don't
here.
want to lie to you guys. I didn't work for a little while. I tried to focus on recovery for a while. And,
That's fine.
I was into some, I don't want to say on the radio, but I was into some stuff that I probably shouldn't have been into.
Yeah. Yeah, we
so
talked
many-
before. We all were.
Yeah. And, so it took me a little while to kind of get my cards, my ducks in a row, so to speak, until I was actually hired into the treatment center industry,
Yeah. Okay.
And so I've kind of grown from there.
Cool. I love it, dude. Yeah, I mean, I worked in that field. Christian worked in the field. Yeah, for a while. Yeah, we all worked in the field. We've had tons of people on the show who worked in the field. And it's kind of like we did a few episodes where we all talked about our story and our past and recovery. So it's like it's not really anonymous anymore. But most of the listeners know that like we're all in recovery and like that's just kind of it's like the podcast isn't about that, and we try to like. I don't want to say like we don't talk about it, but it's like not like
The center.
yeah, it's not like centered around it. Like it's really centered around self-development. So like
Right.
everybody knows that like we're in recovery and like it's a
And that
you know,
plays a
that we
huge
live that
role.
lifestyle,
Yeah,
but
it's the essence of recovery, man.
Right,
exactly,
right.
exactly.
Yeah. So, and then also I wanted to ask too, Scott, about your experience with studying abroad. So first of all, how did that even come about? Because I hear stories about
Dude.
that all the time, but I'm like, what?
Dude.
Who? I didn't get offered that.
I would
Okay.
love to fucking do that.
So listen, it's not chalked up.
Especially Guatemala.
Well,
I'm
where
sure.
you were in Guatemala?
And-
Oh no, I wouldn't love to do that.
And Belize. So it turned out to just be one big party.
Yeah.
Okay, which I was not aware of, and it wasn't. It wasn't like a long, 6 months deal, right? I was at Columbia College. I worked on a military base at the time, so I'm going to school for environmental studies, and they're like, listen, you got to do this class, Mayan civilization, in order to qualify. I was like, bet, let's do it. Mayan culture. It was sick stuff. These people used to play against their own temples in the village, right?
I know.
So you know
Yeah.
about it, right? So
Yeah.
listen,
Whoever dies
one of the
goes to heaven,
things
so-
I learned was to win is to die, and to die is to live forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if I won the battle in the town, I would sacrifice myself knowing that I was going to go on to live as a god in the underworld.
Dude, back then, in those days, bro.
Dude, these guys were nuts,
Dude.
bro. We went in
Same.
some of the
Legendary.
That's faith right there.
dude, that's
motherfucking
belief
faith.
in oneself,
Real
right? So, oh my God.
Holy shit.
So anyways, I wrote this, I did this class, did very well, went over there, and it turned out to be just like one big party in Belize and Guatemala, and we all had taken a class about like the Mayan civilization and culture. This awesome tour guide, Jake, who I still keep in contact with today. Huge man of God, just a great dude, man. But it was pretty gnarly, man, to say the least. Like just experiences like that and getting smacked in the face with the culture. And
Yeah.
we went in this. We take us on these canoes, and you go into this the underworld, they would call it, right? So there are these caves, and what do they call them? Stalactites.
Yeah.
Stalagmites or stalactites, depending if they're going up or down.
Yeah.
Right.
But I don't fucking know what
Yeah.
those were.
It was like there were centaurs and all the people you mentioned earlier in there.
Our boys.
On all fours.
Shout out to my Centaur brothers.
My senator.
So, dude, check this out, though. And then, so we're canoeing in, and this dude's like, listen, all right, and like, 5 seconds, we're going to cut off all the flashlights. And so we did just that, and it was a silence that you'll never hear before. And I know it sounds paradoxical, but it was just the craziest thing. So then dude had his own flashlight, longer range, turns it on, shines it up above. Like, there's no ledges really, right? Dude, at the top of the peak where the cave comes together, there's skulls.
Ooh,
There's
that's
skulls
sick.
just chilling up there in bones. And I'm like, some people got sacrifice in here. I'm out, dog. Turn the canoe around, start paddling. You're
Pure savage.
dude. These guys were nuts. But yeah, it was awesome, man.
Yeah,
was
that's
cool.
sick. What was your first, I guess, reaction mentally to the culture, like the differences?
Dude, how small, just how small and I don't want to say insignificant, but you're really just a blade of grass in the scheme of things. There's, I don't want to get all new agey, but just one person on a scattered earth. You know what I mean? Like one human race, man. And
yeah, well, it's crazy to think like some people never leave like their hometown, so like they never really like know what's happening, and not that you have to, but I mean it's like if you do experience and you do travel a little bit and experience other cultures and other even just locations, like you get that like perspective a little bit better.
Dude,
and
Christian.
kind of understand it.
Dude, so I felt like I was a blunt American. I felt like I grew up with manners and stuff like that, but I almost felt like disrespectful because we went to this old Mayan ruin, and it was a farm, and they had like these tents up, dude, and they made us all this farm fresh food, like I'm talking pork and eggs, all this stuff. They would feed us, and then the people in the village, they would stand by and wait till we were done, and it was rude to go up and get seconds because they would finish the food that we left.
Oh shit. Wow.
And a couple people went up, and it was just like, I don't know, I wanted to, like, it sounds weird, but like almost like bow. I was just trying to say thank you,
right.
And just, I don't know, humbles you, I guess. Dude, even like going to like freaking Colorado or Tennessee was a culture shock for me. Nashville, you know? Like,
just to be able to experience different.
Yeah, it was just crazy.
There's a weird thing you see in Belize. You see there's an Amish community actually in Belize.
Really?
Yeah, we were driving through the middle of Belize, and all of a sudden you see horse and buggies, and
you went on the same exact trip?
Yeah, no. Actually not with him, but I was this year 6 months ago. I was there. Yeah.
But like the same, like studying abroad?
No, I wasn't studying.
Oh, okay. I was like, wait.
I was chilling.
Yeah, we were in the same
relaxing.
class.
So
we survived.
So Mike, what was your experience then with it?
Well, Belize was awesome, man. I loved it there. All the people were so respectful to us. It was real laid back. There wasn't. Well, we went to like I forget what the island was called, but we were on an island. And it was just really chill, man. You get to fish and stuff. I told my mom, my girlfriend, like 4 different times. I was like, I'm moving back here one day. Like, I'm going to come get a boat, and that's all I'm going to do is just fish.
Yeah. I'm going to sound stupid. Where's Belize at?
Central America.
Dude, it's
close to Guatemala?
It's a northern.
Aren't you a brown guy?
It's on the border of
Mexico,
Guatemala,
dude.
right?
It's the northernmost
Mexico,
tip of like South America, Central
because
America.
there's half of the Mayan ruins are in Guatemala, half of them are in Belize,
yeah.
And so they're fighting over that. Like
really?
they actually,
Guatemala was more frightening.
Was it?
Yeah.
Well, that's the one thing is like when you got to be careful too when you go to like traveling, because anytime you're in, even like for myself, like going to Mexico. So my family's from Mexico. Going to Mexico is like there's certain parts that even though I could look, you know what I'm saying, Mexican, they can tell right away when you're not from there, and they know for some reason that maybe you're traveling, so you probably have a little bit of money.
Smell that stuff a mile away, man.
So you definitely got to be careful, and some people just don't give a shit. So you got to be very careful.
People
but
are nuts, man.
Yeah.
I would fucking take advantage of you in a heartbeat.
You do already, dude. You already do. But so Mike, so what's to kind of get a little bit closer to this, what you're planning to do now? How did you get to the point where you even were thinking about wanting to give back or help? I know you're working in treatment, but how did you get to the point where you're kind of like, I need to do something, or I need to start, start something?
Okay, well, a couple of years ago, I actually got certified as a recovery life coach.
Okay.
And I started to try to market myself in different ways from social media and stuff like that after I got certified. And I found that everybody that reached out for help to me really actually they had to go to detox or treatment first, you know what I mean? And I would never get any kind of clientele. And so I would end up just having to transfer them to some treatment center or whatever.
Right.
And then I was like, I really took an interest in the industry. And I don't know, I get like 4 or 5 people a week that call me, literally, or reach out to me on my Recovery as Possible page on Facebook. And usually they can't get into treatment and stuff like that, and it's just because they have no money or insurance. And so I mean, it hurts me, man, because I would like everybody to get the help that they need. I've been privileged enough to go to treatment many times, and I just feel like it's one of those things that everybody should have the chance at least once to get recovery. You know what I mean? Yeah, to
get experience in it.
Yeah.
Do you have any idea of what it's like to get the 401? What is it? The 401c?
501c.
501c.
Yeah, I don't have any idea. I do have a lawyer that's working on it.
Yeah, I heard it's fucking tough.
Yeah, so me and Scott have been talking with the lawyer about doing some stuff, and so I'm just gonna.
You gotta have like because you have one thing. Because I was thinking about starting a nonprofit a while back, like 5 years back. The vision was completely skewed, though it didn't really pan out. But I started doing research on it, and you do like one letter or one number wrong or whatever, and you have to they'll completely deny the whole thing.
Oh, really?
So
Wow.
So but if you have like a lawyer or someone working on it, like I didn't have that, so I'm sure you'll be.
So too, I have the vision of having a treatment center backed by the nonprofit, right?
Okay.
So it's all state funded or government funded,
right?
Grants and stuff like that, and I have a vision. I don't want to put it out here right now, but I'm hoping in the next 2 years it pans out.
Awesome.
I mean? Yeah. So I'm pretty excited about my future.
Getting that out. Yeah. That's
the future for everyone.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, because it is tough, man, and especially when, like you said, you don't have like any insurance or whatever. And for anyone who's listening who doesn't, because we have people that listen that aren't in recovery and don't really maybe don't know like the full extent of it. And you hear, especially down in Florida, you hear about the recovery capital of the world, yada yada yada. Now it's kind of shifting a little bit since I've been down here, but everyone's kind of going to California or like going to different states and stuff. Arizona, other warm parts of the country.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so you do hear like a bunch of negative news and stuff, and I know that there's like what you're doing with the Facebook page and other people that I follow that are trying to kind of spread the positive side of recovery, and it's not all just the negativity that people spew and that you hear. So what's been the biggest struggle for you, like trying to launch this, or what do you think is going to be the biggest struggle for you to launch this?
I don't know if there's going to be too much of a struggle. I'm involved with some people now that are really good people, really strong gentlemen in recovery, and they run their business like gentlemen. And we don't accept insurance; it's all cash pay.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And we get guys in there, and we take them to the steps and teach them prayer and meditation. So it's like a spiritual immersion thing. So, you know what I mean? We really get down to the nuts and bolts and stuff, and really get these guys into the solution. And I feel like if I continue to follow that path, especially in my own life, that all these things are just going to work out. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
So I mean, we'll see, man. Just one foot in front of the other. And that's what I've had to do so far, and we'll just see how it goes.
Yes, that's big. Yeah. And for Scott, for you, as far as the clothing brand, what was that like to kind of get into it? What started that whole process for you?
Shit, man. I honestly don't even know how it all happened. Looking back, like I officially launched it last July.
Okay. So coming up on an anniversary in a couple months.
Yeah, man, dude. To be honest with you, 3 years ago, I just had this thought, and I'm not a business guy. I have no idea what it means to make a T-shirt or sell it or build a brand. Nothing like that. I'm not one of these guys like I'm an entrepreneur and I'm gonna do this. Like I can't stress that enough. That's not me. So I had this idea, and I guess I'll just tell you how corny this is looking back on it now. But I'm having this idea, and I'm like, I'm talking to a buddy. Wouldn't it be cool if like we had this shirt, man? It was like, so it's white, right? But the bottom half is water, and there's like a silhouette of a scuba diver down there. So on the front crew neck, it would say "dive deep," and on the back shoulders, it would say "within yourself."
Right,
just total like, yeah,
that's fire.
Right, so hopefully if it gets successful enough, I'll probably end up printing that shirt just for shits.
You got to, dude.
Got to, bro. Because that's the point, and it's like but really that's what we're doing, right? We're really diving deep within ourselves, and so ideas like that started to come up. Like he was showing me your clothing line and shit, and how you basically highlight people that had an impact on a culture that are lost in the dust of the 21st century, right? And those people just get swept under the rug. So like Emmett Fox, William Faulkner, just spiritual giants that got a ton of other people, like Viktor Frankl, and just amazing people that inspire so many. I want to bring the message of those people to the front lines via clothing, and 10%, like Michael was talking about, is going to be used to fund addicts and alcoholics who can't get into treatment, who don't have insurance and don't have financial backing to get there.
That's awesome. And what's the name? Where does that come from?
Dude, I don't know. I was just spitballing names, coming up with stuff, and From the Grave came, and we're literally resurrected in here. And I always dive into scripture big time. I'm a big scripture guy, so what's better than a resurrected life risen from the grave? I mean, many of us find our grave far, far too soon. So if you're above ground, if you're moving and grooving with the grace that brought you up there, you better learn how to damn cooperate with that grace. And we don't just go on our merry old way. We stand in the graveyard and lift our hand, bring our hands down and help others, right? Because who else is uniquely useful but you and I?
Right. Yeah, that's powerful. And I've seen because right now you just have 2 shirts, or
I have 6 designs so far.
But currently you only have on the website, I think, 2, or is it you have 6?
No, I have 6. I have 6
on the
website.
2.
Oh, yeah, really?
Yeah, you're just a freaking
I must have missed it. So I've seen a couple designs. I've seen two designs. This one and then the other one, and the design so like you said, I have a clothing brand, and to me, like the funnest part is to like go through the idea process and spitball back and forth with people, and then get from that place to the final product and actually like have it physically in your hand. It's unreal. What was it like for you getting that first shirt?
Dude, so good question, man. My buddy Matt, shout out to Matt Hughes if you're listening, who's been instrumental in just, you got to have those couple people who are really breathing like encouragement into your life and like building new shit. Because a lot of people, once you start like living your truth, they don't like it.
Right.
They want you to do good, just not better than them.
Right. Right.
So anyways, I'm like, it's got to look like this, and I got to get the corp and the LC. And he goes, dude, stop. He goes, just go print some shirts and get it on the back of your buddies.
Yeah.
And I don't want it to look like, it's got to look perfect.
Right.
So I followed his suggestion. And then that moment right there of seeing it, something that stemmed from meditation, thought, mentality, and you spoke it into the universe, not to get all corny and law of attraction-ish in here, but it literally happened.
Bro, that's what we do.
We put shit out there.
Let's get weird, man.
Dude, let's get weird, dog. Because listen,
get weird.
Listen.
When you just said that, I was like, dude, That's fucking exactly what we do. Like every week.
It is. But it's
say
like,
shit out loud because you have to.
True. Right, but it has to be a combination of deed and thought.
Yeah.
I can't just dude, listen, it's like, and this is only my thing, like with the addict and the alcoholic, all right, we're up against a spiritual disease. And no one, not science, not medical, has been able to touch it for years until a spiritual approach of providence, divine intervention, came down and helped a knucklehead like me. So with that said, it was like, dude, like for instance, when I was sober 4 years before that relapse, dude, I was overcome by fear and just terror all the time. And I was either going to blow my brains out or pick up a needle. And thank God I did the latter. So it's like, I tried to there's only so much of it. Law of attraction's all about it, right? It's like, it just, for me, it's like a gift. It just naturally happens.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, it just kind of fell into my lap. I didn't plan for any of this. I don't even know how the hell I'm sober.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, I think it's a big, like Andrew was saying, it's a big topic for us, as far as like the way that we view just pretty much anything that we do. We talk about it, and what happens with that when you like actually speak it into existence, or like you just, the whole thing, at least for myself, what I'm doing is that I'm thinking in a different way, and I don't know how to word it exactly, but like
vision.
It's just you're kind of switching your mentality from like negative or negative self-talk to, all right, well, I'm gonna do whatever the hell I want to do, and I'm gonna do it the right way or whatever, however you want to say it. But you're just switching your mentality from like negative to positive,
dude,
basically.
100%. Like here's one and really I feel like I spoke out of character here and hurt the feelings of the podcast with that law of attraction comment. But really I just got a beef with the documentary and how corny it was.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like the dude sitting there envisioning, I was like, come on, bro. Like if you can do that, save the world.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Think about the world getting peace and then save the world.
Yeah.
So real quick, Emmett Fox. Read Sermon on the Mount, Power Through Constructive Thinking, amazing stuff. He says, when the spirit is right, details will take care of themselves. And that is my mantra. Same thing in Scripture. Seek first the kingdom of God, and everything else will be given to you. You don't got to worry about anything else. Just get right with the Spirit. And when the Spirit comes alive, it's been dying to run your life since you were born and you walked away from its truth. Right? And if I can really have the courage to turn that over to God, roll out the red carpet, get the paint board, and design your life as you crave it. Because now the Spirit's alive, the right ideas are coming, the right people are coming into your life, and then it's just like a life of imitation.
Right.
Yeah,
it's big. And I think another big topic is the whole like spirituality and like, higher power. And I know that's been a something that we haven't actually talked about too much, but as far as yourself, how do you feel about people who aren't, or who struggle with that and who are more like leaning towards, I don't want to say atheist, but just, believing in like a spiritual principle?
So, as far as that's concerned is, Mike and I talk about this all the time is, you got to see the power first.
Right.
And a lot of people think that it's going to come from the mountaintop, that, Christian has to sail across the seas and bring it back to me. But it's really deep down in each, every man, woman, and child. And if I can take the eyes of the atheist, let's say, and if we want to relate it to recovery, and we'll say like, hey, do you believe this 12-step program works? Is there any doubt about this? Like, look at all these people. This is your boy. He was using 3 years ago. Look at him healed. And he goes, no, there's definitely something to it, but I'm an atheist. Okay, cool. So you believe there's a power behind this? Yes. Okay. Next question. When he's ready, where does the power come from?
Right.
And then, right? So each person has to come up against that contention with himself and really get honest.
Yeah.
And most of it is just the wrong idea of a God.
Right.
It doesn't have to be Christ. It doesn't have to be Buddha. It doesn't matter. These are just lenses through which we look.
Right.
At the end of the day,
who can comprehend it anyway, right?
Yeah, dude. The result is the same.
Yeah. Right.
This guy talks about all the time, like death of the ego and dismantling the characters that are in front of me that cause my own destruction.
Yeah, it's big. Yeah, because I think that causes probably a lot of misconfusion or miscommunication and confusion.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other thing is, like, if the spirit is really inside, it's usually covered up by ego and character defects, right? And so the process of the steps will take that stuff away and remove away that stuff, so that the spirit can actually flow inside you. And that was my problem for years. I would come into the rooms, or just, we don't have to relate it to recovery, just trying to live life, right? Mm-hmm. But I was doing it for the wrong reasons. Like, I wanted to be like this gigantic swole dude, who had all the chicks and all the money, and. Right. And it led me to the drink or drug every single time. And, I had to be beaten again and again and again before I was like, you know what? Like, I had a problem with steroids. Like, I got a problem with steroids, right. And so I had to, get clean off of that as well. Mm-hmm. And it almost ruined my life. It almost killed me. But once I got that, go ahead.
Oh man, that just fired me up. Not fired me up, fired up a thought in my.
Go ahead,
okay,
go ahead.
Yeah, I want to ask. So, do you think that? Well, share your experience, maybe because maybe somebody else is going through it. Like, share your experience with being in recovery and using that. I don't know if it's a drug, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so using that, being in recovery, using that drug, how did it affect your recovery? What happened? And just tell us a little bit about your experience.
So here's the thing, man. Steroids and testosterone mainly does a couple things, right? It makes you really hungry, really horny, and really angry, right? So when you're new in recovery, you're already horny in the first place, but you put steroids on top of that, and
sheesh.
And you can forget about recovery. Like, it's going to be all about chasing the tail, right? And so anybody that's in, I know that's not anywhere in any book that says no relationships in the first year, but you guys know as well as I do, like, it's tough. Yeah. If you get into a relationship, or if you're running around sleeping with all kinds of different people, then you're more likely to relapse. Another point to make is, when we talk about recovery, we talk about, spiritual principles and getting spiritual. And if you're on steroids, you're in the gym and you're in the mirror, you're doing your poses, and the ego's through the roof. Yeah. Like, you can't live a double life, right? You can't be spiritual and be an egotistical maniac at the same time. Like, it just doesn't work out, So that's a couple of things where I know it doesn't work out. Another than the anger issues as well. Something pops off and you just can't you control your emotional nature. So I don't want to say the people that have a lot of clean time and may use steroids, I don't want to call it a relapse, because it obviously is working for them, because they have probably
it's a gray area.
Time. Yeah, it's like definitely a gray area.
Yeah.
And two, we got the doctors now, they're prescribing it, because and I had actually, my testosterone was crashed, and I take a cc a week of testosterone just to keep me healthy, because my body won't produce it anymore, and that's just another consequence, right? So this stuff's definitely it's bad for you. Right. It does all kinds of physical damage.
I guess, like, what irritates me is when you're in recovery, you try to live a life of honesty and principles, and it talks about. The book talks about the fellowship teaches you to apply all that shit into your life, right? Mm-hmm. So just what rubs me the wrong way is, people living one way outside, doing whatever they do. Mm-hmm. But the other thing is that's none of my business,
True.
But, like, how I feel about it, and this is just how I feel about it, and that's, my opinion, and everyone's entitled to their own opinion, and I would never look down upon someone for their own opinion, but it's like, you're just lying to yourself. And you're ultimately, I feel like, setting yourself up for something, maybe not tomorrow or the next day, but, a couple weeks, couple months, or maybe a couple years down the road, you could be, in a bad spot. Mm-hmm. But, again, gray area, Yeah,
because it could be like your situation where you actually need it, or someone who literally has no, no saying, no need, just no need for it, and you're just,
I guess the reason why I wanted to talk about it was because it kind of corresponds to people in business and in other aspects of life, talking one game but then like living another, right? And I guess that whole thought process and that it just pisses me off. Yeah. When people say things that they're going to do and they don't do it. When people are dishonest, and I lived a dishonest life, and I'm not saying that I'm better than anyone else, but I just, I can spot it from a mile away now because I lived it.
I can tell you from experience that, you know, they say that, you know, the greatest teacher in the world is always experience, right?
Yeah.
Like I can tell you from experience, it just doesn't work, man. You can't live a double life and be in recovery. You know what I mean? Or even just have a successful life, man. If you're lying and you're cheating and you're manipulating,
right,
I mean,
right.
especially if you're trying to live a spiritual life, it doesn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't. It just
and those
work.
principles are important. Like, and you'll learn that. Scott was starting a business, and like I've seen it too. Is like people always want to write checks they can't cash.
Right.
You know, people want to say one thing and then do another. They want to promise you this and under deliver, and it's always just like I would just rather somebody be honest with me and tell me the truth and how it really is than sell me on a dream or a promise that's never going to come true. I'm sure you'll have people that are going to approach you that are going to say, "Oh man, I could take your t-shirt company to the next fucking level, bro."
All the time.
It's like, dude,
I'm good.
What are you gonna do? Am I gonna pay you fucking $2,000 a week to manage my Instagram or some shit?
Right.
Yep. Take a walk, dude.
It's gonna be a no for me, dog.
That's gonna be a big
dude.
No.
It's funny. It's like that's kind of happened a couple times, not with that exact like process, but the dude's like, "Listen, bro, we could really, you can make more sales and social media marketing and doing this is going to cost some money. You should get a small business loan." I'm like, "Listen, man."
Small business loan.
And I'm like, "Listen, homie, like, number one, I didn't start this to, like, sell T-shirts and make money. Like, number one, I'm already giving 10% away. Number two, they're dope-ass designs. And to see, like, a community, like, dude, you know how cool it is when people hit me up on Insta and they're like, "Dude, I was just at a meeting. I saw, like, 4 people wearing your shirt. Dude, it's the coolest shit."
Yeah.
Or someone calls, like, someone sent me an email like in Cali. They're like, "I bought this T-shirt for my roommate. His brother just died recently from a heroin overdose. He's gonna appreciate this. It was a Continue to Fight one, So it's like when it started in that, hopefully like that spirit. It's like, listen, bro, this is God's, homie. Like I'm not out here to try and like make some type of dollar and a big dream or anything like that. It's like whatever's gonna happen is gonna happen, Yeah.
Let's rewind real quick from a business standpoint, right? Because what people don't understand sometimes is 10% is a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you have a company with overhead and expenses and all that stuff, 10% is a lot, right? So let's break it down. How much does it cost, or how much are you selling? Let's say the T-shirt that you're wearing right now. How much are you selling that T-shirt for online?
25 buckaroos.
Okay, 25
at www.fromthegraveclothing.com.
Get it.
Also
plug
on
it.
Instagram.
Plug
Get
it.
From the
it.
Grave Clothing.
Plug.
Get it.
We were gonna get there, but you can plug it whenever you want, dude.
It's
Get it.
filming for a second, so I had to just turn it back on.
Cool.
Good.
So $25, and what does it cost to make the shirt?
Oh, you put me out there, dog. You're laying me out on it. So glad. What's going on, dude? It depends on the guy, man. I mean, I'm working with some new people now, but roughly it's going to at least cost $12 to $14.
Okay. So yeah,
Keep
and then
going.
then your margin is after shipping and all that shit.
Yep.
Is a couple bucks.
It's shit.
And then a couple bucks you're donating to a charitable cause. So I just think that it's awesome that you're doing that, and I think that when people approach you with some bullshit, it's just like, dude,
they don't understand the full.
And that's
it's like
okay.
there's no thousands of dollars to spend in media marketing and all this and shit, and it's like, dude, if you really want to help me, like
buy a T-shirt, dog,
or donate some money.
Buy a T-shirt.
Help someone out. Listen. So like, we give employee discounts. So I told you we sublease our space. We're inside of another business, and everyone who works inside of that business, we give them discounts, right?
Right.
We give them discounts off their every day, every purchase, just because they work there, right? So, and then for the customers, we have like a loyalty program. Everybody has a fucking loyalty program, right? You buy a drink, you get a punch. You buy 9 drinks, you get the 10th free, right? Yeah. All the employees want the punch cards to get the 10th drink for free. I'm like, do you understand that you get a discount every day? Yeah. So you want a discount, and then you want the punch card on top of the discount, and then so I'm just working for free. I mean, fuck me, right?
Yeah.
Right. I'll just go ahead and fuck myself. Close the doors.
Yeah. I just think it's funny how people don't realize, and then the first thing they always want to say is like, "Oh, I work here." It's like, I know you work here. You're gonna get your discount.
You're gonna get it,
down, Sally.
God damn it, Karen.
So I think it's funny, but it's awesome, dude. It's commendable. It's challenging to run a business, challenging to run a T-shirt company, and then on top of that, donate money to a cause that really really matters. So, Yeah, man. That's incredible. Keep up the good work. And we were talking before the show about my other business, which is photo video work, and I do stuff for Christian all the time, and happy to help you guys in any way that I can. I love to build a portfolio, So, and like another thing about the small business stuff is that it's important for us to learn how to, whatever that guy wants to sell you, whoever's coming in, they want to sell you, like it's important to figure out what he does and learn how to do it yourself. And like that's what I've been learning. And sometimes you'll have to spend money to learn how to do it.
Yeah.
But it's like one of those things where it's like invest the time and the money into yourself. So you're not only investing the time and money into yourself, and it's going to benefit the business, but you have that skill now that you could possibly maybe teach someone else down the road. So like somebody wants to, an example, SEO for my business, right? Yeah. We had someone on the show, and they were like, look, we don't, $4,000 is the minimum. And I was like, yeah, well, and he wasn't trying to sell me on the service. He was trying to say like that, these are the size accounts that I do, but if you want, like, we can do an individual one-on-one consulting thing where I'll teach you how to do everything. He's like, you're smart. I know you can do it. And I've been doing it. I've been learning a shitload. And I feel confident that like after the 2 to 3 months and learning everything, like I know that I could teach it to someone else.
It's all organic too. And that's your domain authority gets recognized.
Yeah, you know a little bit about it, but it's like, and not once has he mentioned paid ads, which is like the coolest thing, because when you think if someone's going to teach you something like that, they're like, okay, how am I going to run an ad? It's like, no, how can I, like organically drive traffic to websites and all that shit. And there's nothing about social media, because social media isn't an owned thing. Right. You never own that. So like, yeah, it's important to have a presence there, but that could be plucked from you at any time.
Yeah.
So, but what I've been working on the Juice Bar is building a mailing list, which if you're not doing that right now,
email.
Yeah. Which if you're not doing that right now, you should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's something that we've been thinking about, but with like Juice Bar, it's a little different. Not like, I mean, we would still benefit from it 100%, but so usually you'll say, okay, give us your, and this is how we would do it.
Give us your email, you get something.
10% off or 15% off. But so that makes a lot of sense.
But it's more about building an audience than anything else.
Yeah, constantly in the face. At one point, I swear to God, I was spending half of my life reading PacSun emails. You buy a fucking T-shirt.
Like, I'm not.
Do I really need to give you this email for this purchase? But you just always end up doing the next.
But I'm not going to unsubscribe either. No. I'm not going to unsubscribe. I'm just going to delete it.
In a rough moment, I am.
Right.
They're relentless with those emails, man.
Yeah. But they'll get you, though.
Dude, it works. Every time.
Yeah, one day you're just looking there, okay, I think I'll buy something today.
Yeah.
Dude, I stopped myself.
That's why I feel like,
dude.
Exactly. But if it's in front of them, they're going to buy it. But that's why I feel like for in the industry that you guys are in, with the merchandise and t-shirts and stuff like that, people see a dope shirt. Like I don't really go to the mall to buy clothes anymore.
Yeah, neither do I.
And I'm just trying to speak like as a consumer to maybe give you guys some insight. Like I don't go to the mall to buy clothes. I mean, you have a clothing company, and like I have, the shirts from my businesses, so that's just what I wear.
Yeah.
But it's like if I see a cool shirt pop up on an email ad, like I'll probably buy it.
I'm gonna check it out.
Definitely check it out.
I'm gonna hit shop now.
I'm probably gonna buy it.
Yeah, it's definitely changed. That's what I've seen. Is at least for myself personally, everything that I've bought in has been literally for myself through Instagram. Yeah, dude. So I'll check and I'll find like. So hashtags are important. They're huge. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Knowing how to hashtag, knowing how to like use location. Like if you're certain, like if your brand has like associated to surfing in any way, you could do like beaches or
local surf shops. South Florida,
exactly. Like and I'll talk to you after too about what we do for expanding, and it's very organic. It takes forever, but the people stay, and it's a very organic community, and it makes sense, you know. So but that's the big thing now is that I've been seeing is that people want to buy something with a message. People want to support something that actually makes sense. So like donating, that's going to be a huge thing. But also learning how to like run the business side of it, because
it's a lot,
especially you're doing screen printing.
Yeah.
So we use Printful. But dude,
you mentioned that,
dude, it's so when you talk about little profit, Printful is making bank. But I mean, but we can afford to put out 20 different, product designs. We can afford to do that because we're not paying for 24 minimum shirts per order.
Yeah.
For one color, one, you know what I'm saying, one design. But yeah, when we looked, I just did the taxes for the company, and dude, it was bad.
Depressing, right?
Yeah, they make Printful is such a genius.
Yeah, the market's already been capitalized.
Yeah.
Unless you're going overseas to like Guatemala and getting your stuff, and to do that, you got to have an order, like 100,000
Big fucking
units.
order, yeah.
Huge.
Like they're not dealing with any small fries type thing.
Right.
So you're made in America until.
You remember that show?
What, Made in America?
Yeah, it was about some kids in America who started a clothing company.
What?
It was an old HBO show, like one of the first.
No, I think you're lying, dude.
Dude, check it out. It was a cool show, actually.
I feel like I've heard about.
Check it out.
Now you're
fuckers are second guessing myself.
I think you're full of shit, dude.
Sounds like a Vice episode.
Right.
Look it up, Drew.
Shout out to Vice.
Yeah, shout out
for saving journalism.
Right. Yeah, that's another cool thing is with when you build your brand and you build it.
How to make it in America.
Oh, you found it?
Yeah, how to make it in America.
Wow.
Who are the kids? What's the
fuck you, Christian?
And it's a real clothing brand?
I mean, you're pretty much
it was
there,
like a
dog.
fake show. It was like an Entourage, but it was like an Entourage, but these dudes are like starting a clothing company.
Okay.
It's cool.
I like it.
By the way, I think it helps to have some pretty fucking sick designs.
Yes.
Which you got, dude. Thank you for
dude.
Thank you for fucking the shirt.
Yeah, Jesse was like stoked on it.
I'm definitely buying a second.
I got you.
Sweet, man.
I got you. Yeah,
design is huge, man.
Dude, even just like it's just showing love right now. Like having people wear it and rock it and just show love back is like dude, it's everything. Like,
well, people can tell too when it's like an authentic brand.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And people are like, they can kind of see the decision-making process. And another cool thing about Instagram, social media is documenting. So like, I don't know if you guys have thought about not like going like the whole full like vlog. I mean, some people do it and it works, but just doing videos here and there, you know what I'm saying? Just to kind of maybe document like, going through the process of picking out the next design or like the process of creating a design. And, once you start getting a following, people appreciate that, as you move forward. So I don't know, it's all a learning process though, for
sure, man.
Yeah, but that's exciting. So I did want to ask too, what do you, I don't know if you guys had any other questions, but what do you, and I'll start with you, Scott, what do you think is the most important trait to have in today's world?
So the most important trait to have in today's world, I'll speak for myself, man. Like, so a trait we'll go with like character, right? Is the taproot of all that for me is absolute loyalty to the development of my spiritual life. And I can't stress that enough, is anytime I try to manipulate my character and make it look a certain way or fall into this line, so to speak, it always slips through my fingers. So what he's talking about over here is like not living the double life and really, really making the audio match the video, you know? Yeah. And that takes some work, man. And just to have character in today's world, that's the trait. To have fucking character, man, and stand for something and look the world in the eye. You know what the most spiritual thing that's happened to me this time around is to not give a fuck what you guys say about me.
Right.
To honestly just be like, dude, whatever, bro. Like, I'm out here living my truth. Like, I'm going to make some enemies. Not everyone's going to love Mike today. Not everyone's going to love Scott, Right. I mean, everyone loves Jesse, but fuck, we can't all be like Jesse, dog.
Everyone but Andrew, dude.
Touche.
Everyone but Andrew.
Yeah, no, but I agree 100%, man. Yeah. And Mike, what about you?
I mean, Scott nailed it on the head, man. It's all about character, but I would have to say that, in my life personally, it's perseverance, because, life can be a very, very painful thing at times, you know what I mean? And just to keep moving forward through lots of obstacles, and any obstacle that comes in my way, man, I just keep moving forward, and, no matter how painful it is, I always grow. I grow from it and I become a better person. And that's just been my story, Yeah. So I just, I just keep on moving forward.
Yeah.
Do the damn thing.
Dude. Too many people give up. after getting hit in the face the first time.
Yeah, no.
Gotta hashtag continue to fight, dog.
Gotta hashtag
continue to fight.
Yeah, go ahead. Tell everyone where they can find your stuff, where they can find you online, how they can reach out to you if they want to talk to you guys about recovery or anything going on.
Yeah, man. www.fromthegraveclothing.com. Every hashtag you want to search for is hashtag FTG Army. Check us out, man. Order a shirt. Show your love. Show your support. Follow Mikey. All the proceeds go to Through the Archway with Peter Marinelli. You can check them out on throughthearchway.com. And yeah, that's it, man. Facebook at From the Grave Clothing. Instagram at From the Grave Clothing. You're
right on. All right. Thank you, everyone, for listening. If you
Mikey's got his page too. There.
Oh yeah. My bad.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I have it's at Recovery Inspired on Facebook and Instagram, and yes, it's like Scott said. We just try to get people the help that they need, man. And just follow those pages, and we're gonna definitely develop something and get some stuff moving here in the future. So,
yeah. Anyone that's struggling out there that's listening, check out the page. What was it again?
It's Recovery Inspired, actually.
And we'll put it in the show notes too, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Right on. Yeah, if you guys are listening out there and you haven't subscribed to the podcast yet, do so. Leave a rating if you'd like. We release episodes every Sunday at 6 p.m. consistently for the past year plus now. So that's a pretty big accomplishment. We're proud of that. Thanks everyone for listening. We'll see you next week.
Get it.
Dude.